All right, welcome to another episode of Broker's Playbook. To all my brothers and sisters joining from coast to coast. Today it's going to be a hot one, a scorcher actually. Today we have Holly Carroll joining us live here in the studio. And she is, many of you do know her, many of you who don't. Please know that she is a force to be reckoned with in the luxury space specifically. She represents the agency up in the Muskokas. So she is a huge and well-known persona to begin with. She has a very interesting past that we are going to get into. Holly, welcome to Broker's Playbook. What a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many places that we are going to go in this podcast today. And you have such a interesting past where I believe I have a little plan in my head. Typically, it does not work out, as you very well know, as such as life. But I do have kind of some really key things that I want to touch on that are going to both guide, inspire, and finally give value to our brothers and sisters listening. For all those tuning in, this is an industry podcast. Predominantly 80% of the followership is agents, brokers, broker owners. And the goal that we have on this show is to give value to our brothers and sisters. How can you make one of us better?
Yep.
Something you share today is going to make me better, and we're going to see what that is. And hopefully when we magnify that message across and we feature all the colorful guests that we have on the show, the industry at large becomes better. The reason I'm stating this right now is because you have a massive focus, and you always have in your life. And of course, you can back this up with your accomplishments. You're mindset driven. And I think that is a very big component of any successful person overall in life. Don't care about the industry, but specifically to real estate, the top 1%, the top 5%, the top 20% have that in common. They see the world for a bright, sunny, warm place.
Yep.
Not a miserable, dark, lonely place.
Yep.
It's the power of the mindset of positivity and abundance. Tell me how, because you're now you're getting, you're 4 years into your real estate path, which is not forever. I'm at 17, and there's amazing mentors that I have that are double that in the business.
Yeah.
But 4 years, you're no longer a newbie.
Yep.
You've closed some major deals. You have a truckload of business. There's not a time you don't have listings. We're going to get to how you do that. But tell me about how this mindset of positivity has guided you throughout your career, because you used to be a model.
Yeah.
You've reached the pinnacle of that world with taking the crown of Miss Canada. And I don't want to talk about that because I know you do all the time. I want to talk about how all that kind of becomes you today. You take it, you tell us about where this all started.
Well, the biggest thing that's coming to my mind right now, just from that intro, is collaboration versus competition. I know we say that all the time, but that was just the first thing that I should say, because that's been my sort of motto throughout my entire life. Modeling world, it's competitive. But if you collaborate or just help others, which is another word for collaboration, is basically helping your brothers and sisters, like you mentioned.
When we all win,
yeah,
it's exactly that. We all win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, if we all kind of have this positive, bright light, we actually bring up the lights in the room or in the world. So I think that that's just a good motto to live by. And it sounds so simple, and it might even sound cheesy to some people, but it also feels better to do. Just have a little bit better mindset.
I think the intention has to be there in order to live that.
Fair.
You can't be, a ray of sunshine to someone if you actually have dark intentions.
That's fair.
And I don't think there's, of course, some charlatans out there that can hide it so well where they get away with it. But I don't think you can hide your true intentions over time.
I agree. And you know what? I've had some struggling times as well, where, sort of my demons that I had to work on were sort of showing. So, I wasn't just this bright light all the time. There's sometimes that I have to work on things, and I work on them. I sit down or I talk to somebody
100%.
or I look at I become self-aware of what kind of isn't working.
When you say talk to somebody, you're talking about a third party, whatever that may be.
Yes, that could be your mentor. That could be
Could be a therapist.
Could be a therapist. Absolutely.
So I'll speak to that.
Okay.
Only because so many people don't speak to these things.
Yeah.
In this life that we chose specifically of sales and
Yep.
real estate, there is not a day that doesn't have a problem or an
Correct.
issue, a fire to put out, etc.
Yep.
I am extremely well known for my positive energy, which I wear with great pride. And it's not fake because I am a very positive person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an eternal optimist because I know things will always work out for me. But they don't work out for me for lack of action or with an attitude of being a know-it-all.
Yeah.
I definitely know what I don't know. There's many times that I don't know what I don't know.
Yep.
But I have this unique skill, and I always have, of reaching out for help.
Yeah.
And my advice today, above and beyond all the things we're going to share, I was just at a conference speaking to both mental illness short-term, mental illness long-term. Let this be the time that I remembered, fortunately, and I have an amazing guest on with me today. If you need help, you need to speak up. And I'm not speaking about depression, schizophrenia. Those are obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking about everyday anxiety. The things that ruin your life every day don't have to. And there are many ways to deal with those things. Positivity being one, reaching out for help being the other, and all the millions and myriads of ways to deal with it.
Yep.
So if stress, because you will speak to stress, managing that, because it's silly to have it.
Yep.
Plain and simple. It's something that we can choose to turn off. Meaning as simple as close your eyes, nothing exists. Open them, you choose what you bring in. That's my way of dealing with it. You might have a different one.
Oh, there's many of them.
There's so many.
Which is the beauty of it.
The beauty of it all. Going down this path right now, you have had no shortage of dealing with craziness.
Yes.
So how many years were you an international global model for?
17 years.
What did those 17 years teach you? From adaptability, you tell me what they are, to getting into a situation. How are you leveraging 17 years of your life into the amazing practice you're currently building in the Muskokas?
It's a good question because just on a business standpoint, real estate is kind of marketing yourself.
Yes.
Right? And that's what I did for
You are
17
the
years.
product.
You are the product, right? It also gave me vulnerability, humility, but also confidence. And I think you kind of have to have them both to succeed. And so I got rejected a lot being, as a model, but I also got a lot of jobs. So I figured out that sort of avenue first.
Go back. It's too
Go
good.
back.
It's too good. It's too good. You got rejected a lot,
Yep.
but you now, with the confidence you have now, said, but I got a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
How did rejection feel when you were getting it? Because this is a major, major reason why agents quit.
Of course.
And it's also a major reason why agents are not making enough content because there's their fear of rejection.
Absolutely.
Take me down that path. There is nobody better than an international model turned successful agent to tell us about rejection. Tell me about it.
So I held the vision. I wanted to be and was an international superstar, supermodel, and nobody was going to tell me different. So switching gears into real estate, I want to be an international impactful.
So whether or not you were regarded as a supermodel,
Yeah.
Gisele Bundchen or not, you decided you were that.
Correct. I was that every time, even when I got rejected. So for example, if you don't get the listing, if you don't get the buyer, or you don't get the transaction closed, it doesn't matter because you're still a successful real estate agent. I was still an iconic supermodel in my mind.
To you first.
To me first. And looking back, I was. So did it really matter looking back? No.
To anybody listening to podcasts, this is also a common trait amongst people who succeed, is the ability to deal with what some people call failure, other people call lessons. I don't care which word to use because to me, everything is a lesson, success or not. But this mindset of appeasing yourself first
Yep.
knowing that when you wake up in the morning, that what you're looking at is a supermodel.
Absolutely. I don't think you can be or become something you're not conscious of being already. So if you're not conscious of being a successful real estate agent, I don't know if you can just stumble upon that. And the only way to do that without extreme amounts of success is to feel that already, is to visualize that, is to shut your eyes for a couple minutes, is to be around other people that are, is to believe in yourself and be around other people that believe in yourself. That's really the only way to become consciously aware of it. And then by being consciously aware of it, you can then attract it to you. I mean, think about going into a listing appointment. If you think you're just this average real estate agent and you're going in for a luxury listing
With your shoes untied.
And you're, stressing out about the rejected listing that you got, a couple months ago, they're going to feel that. Plain and simple. And I know we know that, but do we practice anything going in there before? Maybe not. What I do is I practice. I practiced before I even got in here. I did a meditation. I looked in the mirror. I know these things sound cheesy, but they work. Repetition works. Affirmations work.
Well, then let me give away a little industry secret. I took you through a half-hour session of intensive questions.
Yep.
To see where your comfort level is.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't want you to come on the show if you're nervous.
Yeah.
I don't want you to come if you're not ready. I don't want to touch on something that you're not comfortable with, not because of anything other than we're doing this to enlighten and inspire, not to hurt and expose.
Fair.
So investigative journalism has its place.
Yeah.
This is a place of mind share and comfort and safe.
I appreciate that.
And I mean, safe for me and safe for you.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. You go through your life as an international sensation. You take it all home here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. You live in Toronto, in the heart of it all. You're part of the King West scene. Tell me about those years. How did you like it? You're in the beaches for a bit too.
Yes.
So you were kind of that central downtown core. What was your life like? How did you decide Muskoka is a place for you? Because right now, I only met you a few years ago, and the only thing I know you as is Miss Muskoka, for lack of a better word.
Which I'm glad.
100%.
That makes me feel good.
Oh, you're succeeding in brand, no doubt.
Thank you.
Tell me about your mindset. So you're in your early 30s.
Yep.
You're living life. You're loving it. How did this all start forming?
Yeah, so I may get a little vulnerable here, but we are helping our brothers and sisters. When I lived downtown Toronto, I still had this burning desire to be a successful real estate agent, but I lived that King West lifestyle. And what I mean is that we partied a lot.
Yeah.
We drank and we went for dinners and they turned out to be 2 a.m. And I lived that lifestyle and I justified that lifestyle for years because I thought I'm meeting people when I go out and I'm talking real estate. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't really taking myself seriously or the business seriously.
It was fun.
It was fun, right?
And it happens all the time.
And it happens all the time. And I think that a lot of people let it get taken away from them. And I'm probably a victim of that as well. So the pandemic hit, which in that sense was really good for me because the bars closed down.
It was good for a lot of us.
Yeah. And I started going up to Muskoka because I wanted to be around nature. I also had more time on my hands. So I wanted to be around nature. And I drove back, and every single time I drove back, I didn't want to go back. I mean, for the clear and simple reason is that the city was kind of dead anyways. But I just felt alive and I felt inspired and I felt motivated when I was in Muskoka. And I thought to myself, I don't have to be anywhere I don't want to be. I can build my business anywhere. And when I actually started real estate, so I'm from Aurelia, a long way back. I went to high school there. And so I originally actually wanted to sell in Muskoka, but I thought there's no way, it's dead. I better start in the city. So that dream of Muskoka was always there because I grew up going there as a child and spent my Muskoka summers there. So I started building my business there and it blew up. You know, once you align with something and your kind of passion and where you're supposed to be in your niche, I feel like that's when it really takes off.
Well, I think you were able to find your passion on top of it. So
Fair.
I think your image in your head, and this is me assuming, and you can correct me right
course.
here and now, is because you exude it. Like you like luxury
Yes.
real estate. You liked the party scene and what that embodies. And I think for better or for worse, that King Street West experience, and I mean this when I say this, everything you've ever done, every drink you had, every memory you have, every word you spoke has made you where you are today. So that image that was in your mind that you were living, you can speak to it because half the clients in Muskoka are from right where you were partying.
I know.
So you being able to understand the
Yep.
inner, the relationship dynamic of what somebody's seeking
Yep.
when they're looking, because luxury real estate in Muskoka is about status.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lifestyle. It's a status symbol. It is because you can go anywhere for a lake.
Yeah.
Ontario has hundreds of thousands of them.
It's true.
But we choose Muskoka for status. We choose Muskoka for a specific lifestyle and amenities.
Yep.
The golf courses, the neighbors, all the things. So you being able to understand that gives you an advantage.
I think that's really cool that you mentioned that, everything I've done in that King West lifestyle, because I think a lot of people think they have to hide their past, or they have to be somebody else when they start real estate, or I'm this person now. And I just think that's so cool that you mentioned that.
Well, I have done everything under the sun. And I
mean, you're a biker on the weekends.
We just rode 5 days of biking. The difference is in my 20s, we would be partying till 5 in the morning. Now that we raised, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars for the women's shelter.
I love that.
That's the difference now, but it's no different than anything else.
And I don't think you need to hate that other person either. I think a lot of people do that. They hate their past.
And maybe that's a mindset thing.
Yeah, it is.
I love my past.
Yeah.
I had a tremendous amount of fun in my past. And as a matter of fact, I still do.
You got scars to prove it.
All sorts. Tattoos.
Well, you know what? That could be a projection, because I think for a long time I did. I think I tried to be somebody else, and I think that I didn't want to go back to that person that I was, and I had to be this other person.
It's only you allowing society to tell you
absolutely.
who you should be and what's acceptable.
Absolutely.
And it's just not the case.
It's not the case.
It's not the case at all. And anybody who does that is either suffering in secret
Yep.
or suffering in public with not being able to break through. One of the two.
Yeah.
But you can't appease others if you're not happy with yourself.
I know.
You said you became an overnight source of referrals. And I know that to be true because we've spoken together at the Buzz Conference, at many different events. And I know I have a big calendar ahead this year. You've become part of a lot of empowerment series. Tell me about how you see yourself as a businesswoman, not a business person, a businesswoman. And how do you feel your sisters out there are doing? What's the state of women in real estate to you? And what are you doing to make it better?
Yeah. I think women have an advantage.
They do.
Rather than a disadvantage that maybe some women think, or maybe society might have told us for so long. I think we have a big advantage because we find it very easy to connect with people, maybe a little bit even more than men. That nurturing deals, that nurturing relationships, the connection. And that's really where it all stems from. That's really what it's all about. You have to connect and find out what your client wants first. And I think women do that really well. I think that men and women need each other. And so that's just one of the things for my sisters. I do have a company called Finding the Beauty Within and a women's group called Women Empower Women Co. And we basically get together and talk about all different struggles and successes and things that we can help each other with. And in any type of businesses, real estate, nurses, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So this is not entrepreneurship only. This is women helping women.
Yeah. And it's not women hating on men at all.
No.
It's women actually appreciating men too, and understanding men, and understanding your love languages with clients, and how to talk to people and how to listen to people. So it's all just to develop a better awareness and open your heart a bit more, and to develop communication.
What's your biggest advice to men, knowing what you've gone through in your life, or knowing what your sisters have gone through in their career paths, what's the most common issue, and how can we, the men, be better to our colleagues?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think men are in their masculine all the time, and they would benefit from being in their feminine. And what I mean by that is that masculine energy is the actions, the doing, the aggressive, the hustling, all that stuff, which is great. But I think that men would benefit from being a little more emotional, slow down, meditate, visualize, journal. You don't have to do all of those things.
Stop speaking to me. All my problems in 10 seconds.
But
I'm listening, Holly Carroll. I'm listening.
There's a balance between masculine and feminine. And I think that once men get in touch with their feminine side, some people maybe don't want to hear that, or they think it sounds like it isn't. But when men get in touch with their feminine side, they are a force. And then they connect with men and women. So I find that men sometimes have a hard time connecting with women and vice versa if they're not in touch with their both polarities.
And of course, being respectful of the differences.
And being respectful of the difference and accept the differences.
So I think only because I know my lowest points are being, and again, my excuses, having the time to be able to switch up or down in intensity, in all the areas. The only thing that I know intentfully that I do is accept. So I will not be the prejudgmental person I used to be. That's my life progress. I used to be as ignorant and as arrogant as you can imagine. And I'm the opposite now.
Yeah.
And where people have a hard time believing it, they're like, are you patronizing me? I'm like, no, I actually am not patronizing you. Do you? And that's been my biggest breakthrough. I still struggle very much with intensity.
Yeah.
In coming off a certain way. So that's what I'm working on now. Like that's my biggest conscious working on myself right now is my intensity.
I love that because just being self-aware, you're way ahead of everybody. And it's just the simple things. So if you notice that and you change it in that moment, you're rewiring your brain. So
and the people can feel it. They're like, did you just...
Yeah. Did you shift? Did you put your arms down?
I did. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. It's an energy. It's a whole body language. And I think people think that they need to go to these big weekends away retreats and ayahuasca experiences or these big intense things to change who they are. And really, those are just bringing you up to a level of awareness. What you need to do is just the daily things. And if you need to take a breath, take a breath.
Yes, I agree. I'm going to take you back to business.
Okay.
Taking you back to business. You're a Toronto...
starter.
I'm not going to say starter. You're a Toronto girl 100% through and through. You know the city. You understand the pace of the city. You understand what people are looking for. You're living out your dream by living and working in the Muskokas. And you've become a referral source. And when I asked you what your dream was, is you want to 10x. So you want to take on more people and people can already trust you. Tell me in your words, with absolutely no doubt, what you deliver on. So why would I give you my referral as opposed to Joe Schmo?
Yep.
What do you do better? What do you represent? How will my client feel after speaking with you? Because believe it or not, all the agents that are listening and watching right now will eventually have a client that's looking for the Muskokas.
Of course.
Why give you the business and not Cousin Joe?
Of course. Well, first and foremost, I'm selling a lifestyle. I'm not selling real estate. And I think that's what people want when they move to Muskoka or buy a place in Muskoka or sell in Muskoka. I will definitely be grateful that you gave me the referral and make sure that you're knowledgeable of what's going on. I'm also very knowledgeable in the Muskokas. I think most people think there's 3 lakes, Lake Joe, Lake Muskoka, and Lake Rosso, and there's 1,600 lakes. I live there. I breathe there. I love Muskoka. So
and there's nuances to all these lakes, and there's pros and cons and types of buildings. And
so that's what I was getting into next too. Like I'll build a relationship with your client and listen to your client and find out what your client actually wants. Because I think the biggest thing is we sell them what we want. And if we listen to what they want and their price range, I can get them that because there's so much to offer in Muskoka. Again, a lot of people think they want to be on Lake Muskoka, and that's okay if they do. I'll find that out too. But what they want might be on Mary Lake, might be on Fairy Lake, might be on a different lake, right? And I think that that narrow-mindedness will, catch up to you. So I pride myself in knowing and building a relationship first with the referral as well as the client. I pride myself in knowing Muskoka and knowing the lifestyle.
As far as network and connections, a lot of these destination real estate groups, there's people who sell Prince Edward County, Muskoka, yes, Niagara. In Vancouver, there's so many different markets outside. In Victoria alone, there's 4 different major pockets you can focus in on. Do you find that your network of experts, your power team, is as effective as you as far as the plumbers, the electricians, the builders, the appraisers, the water testers? There's so many nuances to non-city real estate, to lake real estate for that matter. How do you find the network of service providers up there, and do you have a strong one?
I do. I have built a strong network of services, contractors, builders, water treatment people I have. And what I'm building is also friendship and respect. So when I need something done for my client, I know that this person will come right away. I know it's going to be a fair price, and I know that we're going to be taken care of because I've built that relationship. We have lunch. So I'd rather build this team of experts that we jive with than just having a whole list of people that might answer the phone.
You just said we have lunch. For all those loyal listeners, I have said a million times, my business practice, the REC, this podcast, everything I've ever done in my life is business built on food. And to put that into perspective, I beg anyone to try to have lunch with somebody they don't like, because you won't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You physically won't do it. Mm-hmm. You'll find an excuse. You'll find lunch or dinner is such an intimate experience. There's nothing, I'm not talking intimacy. I'm talking about relationship intimacy.
Yeah.
Is you cannot physically sit down with someone and eat because it's a primal instinct. When people say, let's go break bread, there's a reason. Because over that hour, 2 hours, relationships are formed, whether we are conscious of it or not.
Absolutely.
When you walk away, or when you make an excuse, or let's call it speed dating, when you run for the hills, it's because there was no connection, no vibe. You can't sit there. I'm so sorry, my children, or I'm so sorry, I'm out.
Yeah, it's true.
So having lunch with service providers, having lunch with anyone creates reciprocity, respect. It creates depth, because you're going to share things above and beyond the mandate.
Yep.
Where you know that, let's say I'm sitting down with Joe the plumber, Mary the electrician. Over 1 hour of lunch, Mary's going to tell me about what she's up to. And just maybe on my path, I'm going to find a solution to one of her problems and call her back and say, Mary, remember when you told me about this? What about you try that? Mary is now a fan of Simeon. Mary is a fan of Holly. Relationship. So when you call Mary and say, hey, my client needs somebody right now.
Yeah. And we become more knowledgeable, like you said. And I'm a big advocate for just changing this real estate world into a positive world. It doesn't have to be this cutthroat and this stressful and this, oh my gosh, it's like, okay, no problem. Mary's coming over. You're going to be okay. And then Mary comes over because she knows me and she's kind to my client. I didn't just order online that she's got to send over. Like, it's an overall better experience that essentially will come back to you.
No doubt about it. Tell me about your daily practices.
Yep.
You wake up, do you do affirmations? What does your day look like? Not that you have to, or you don't have to. What does your day look like? What time do you wake up?
I typically wake up at 6 a.m. That's just sort of where I'm wired. I don't believe that you have to wake up at a certain time. I like to wake up earlier because the real estate world really starts at 9. And so I want to get sort of me time in first.
Get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it, you know? But 7 o'clock is fine too. A lot of people are like, you got to wake up at the 5 a.m. club, right? I think the most important thing is to get adequate sleep. So my mornings start with visualization. I visualize for at least 5 minutes, and I have 5 end scenes. One of them is particularly in business, relationship, just sort of overall, and so on and so forth. So I visualize that and I feel that. I use all my senses, and I take that energy that I felt in that visualization and carry on with the day. So whatever happened yesterday or whatever I thought of before I went to sleep, it no longer affects me this day.
Do you keep your cell phone in your bedroom?
No.
A lot of people don't.
I don't anymore.
It's an interesting, because I just was talking over the weekend to people.
Good idea.
And about half the people in the room don't sleep with their cell phones in the room. I love it.
Because I think we're addicted to that, and they did that to us.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to just grab it. Like if I could be conscious all the time, I wouldn't grab it. But you fall into a little bit of thing, and that's what addiction is, right?
I personally implemented, the do not disturb modes.
Oh, good.
I created a sleeping one.
Yeah,
and
smart.
at 10 o'clock, so I go to bed typically around 11:30. But at 9:45 is when that's automatically on, and it actually takes away all your notifications.
Oh, I love that.
Even if they were existing.
Yep.
So you're not going to hear new ones, but if you look at your phone, there's no red buttons. There's no notifications. And to me, that was so I'd never look at the phone again.
Yep.
There's nothing to look at.
You don't know you're missing anything.
Correct.
Yep.
So if you can buy into that, please do. It has given me better sleeps, like for real. And if you can't resist the phone, simply don't sleep with it. Get it out of your room.
Agreed.
Put on the charger.
Agreed.
What benefits do you see from good sleeps? Waking up at 6? Where's your mindset at? Are you creating content every day? Like, how does that all work for you?
So I am more interested, or how it works for me is to stay inspired and to stay with the vision in mind. So holding the vision, that's my biggest thing. So whatever gets me there, I do different practices in the morning sometimes. It used to be I wrote out things a million times that I am successful, I'm a multimillionaire, I am impactful, I am iconic. I used to do that. Sometimes I'll do that. It's not the same thing every day other than visualizing, but whatever gets me inspired and motivated and in that energy of the iconic Holly Carroll, that's what I do. For those listening, obviously, it'd be helpful to know what modalities you can use. I do a lot of mirror work. Mm-hmm. So I literally talk to myself in the mirror and I high five myself in the mirror. So there's a really good book by Mel Robbins called The High Five Habit. It's incredible. And
gotta be your biggest fan, man.
Yeah. So the reason why we do that too is because scientifically, the action of it sends a message to your brain that's more powerful than you just saying, I am iconic, I am successful.
For anybody who's giggling or judging or anything right now, you've missed the message.
Yep.
For anybody who's finding inspiration of this, you recognize the message. For anybody who is indifferent to it, like I am, because I've actually done these things and I continue to do these things, I'm not surprised is all I'm getting at, not indifferent. I'm not surprised because my mind, I wake up at 6:45. I have 2 children and they're already beating me up in the morning. They get up even earlier. So I'm going to probably switch to 6:30. Is I need to get ahead for the day. I have way too many thoughts, for better or for worse. Mm-hmm. So I need to lay them out. I'm a big note person, huge note person. Writing it out just tells me again. And so the actual practice, I don't speak to a mirror, but I think in the shower and I come out and I run to my notebook.
Yep.
Because I need to get the words out.
Of course.
Maybe I'll try the mirror again.
Yeah.
But you'll find what's right for you. The whole point of the exercise is to implement things for yourself, not for others. It's morning. You woke up. This is your day. When people say seize the day, you can't seize the day if you're up at 10. You're behind.
And don't just seize the day, create
the day. So these are multiple things that are fundamental and pillars to me. To slowly start wrapping this up,
Yes.
just in the sake of time. You're up, you're ready, you found yourself, you've set your intentions for the day. I want to touch a little bit of content because you have, and you specifically
Yep.
are inspirational to many on content creation and creating an audience. I personally find the best part of you, your ability to deliver in person what you've led me to believe I would see online.
That's
So
nice.
being your authentic self.
Yeah.
The difference with you is the fact of your past and your physical appearance. So we don't have the same advantage, meaning that as a beautiful woman, you're already winning for the wrong reasons. Meaning, like, judgment it's just the way life goes.
Mm-hmm.
How, I'm going to ask you the question twofold,
Okay.
and this is going to be my last question because I think this is a big one. How do other beautiful women, and all women can be beautiful if they want to be, it's just how they look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But how do other beautiful women, so women who already are beautiful, they know they're beautiful, how do they package it up proper for business?
Mm-hmm.
Your advice, because you lead these conversations.
Yes.
Advice. And how to the women who have not found their beauty yet,
Mm-hmm.
or think, well, if I was blonde
Yeah.
and whatever, again, it's a mindset.
Uh-huh.
You want to be a hater, you can be a hater, or you can turn all over the page and start winning. That was already my advice. I spit it out already. Anyways,
I can answer these.
I want your two takes on both sides of the fence.
Well, I will say that
And I'm speaking to what they can actionably do.
absolutely. So I will give a little bit of a preface here. So I will say that even when society thought I was beautiful, I didn't feel beautiful inside. And you can see, even when you go back to my Instagram, where I actually found the light and shined it bright and found the beauty within. And that was through a lot of things. Quitting alcohol was one of them, deep diving into self-personal development. Anyways, but what?
Not anyways. Finish this because that's when you found your light.
That's when I found my light.
So you found your light by quitting alcohol and actually working on your mindset.
And working on my mindset, working within. So I know it does have something to do with the outside, but it really has something to do with the inside. If I came in here with a different inside, you wouldn't feel the same. You probably wouldn't even have mentioned that. So I will say that the beauty is from the inside. So no matter what you wear, no matter what lipstick you put on, no matter what shade your hair is, if you don't do the inner work, and if you don't think you're beautiful, the world won't see you as a beauty either. The world will actually probably take advantage of you.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to the mirror work. A lot of people can't stand in front of the mirror and tell themselves that they love themselves. They can't. And I am a victim of that years ago too.
And how do we change it?
So it's daily practices.
Just do it.
It really is.
Just try it. Don't judge and just try it.
Just try
What
it.
is the number one book you recommended for this? Is there a book you recommended? Or that was the High Five Club?
That was the High Five Habit. That one's great. Mel Robbins' High Five Habit.
What is your
Let's try
number
with
one
that.
book recommendation in finding that beauty within?
Ooh.
Where to start? Give me one.
Finding the beauty within. Oh my gosh.
What did you read? Was it the High Five? The High Five? Where did you start?
Think Like a Monk is very, very good book.
Love it. That's Robin Sharma?
It is Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty.
Let's leave it at that. Right now, I'm heavy into books that help you visualize and help you believe in yourself, but in a mental
So
way.
would you recommend Jay Shetty as a great way to start this journey?
Yes.
So that's the takeaway.
Yes.
Now, on the other side, anybody, because these are all self-created issues.
Mm-hmm. They are.
None of them are real. You close your eyes, they don't exist. You open your eyes, you go to Instagram, all of a sudden they're all back.
Yeah.
Is it comparing yourself to others that does it?
That doesn't help. But it's who you think you are either holds you back or propels you forward. So if you think you're beautiful, the world will see you as a beautiful person. If you think you're successful, the world will see you as success. You have to see it for yourself first. It all starts with you. I know we've said that before, but it all starts with you. So I would spend more time working on you than working on your business. And then the two will align.
Of course. So you are the business.
You are the
That's
business.
the thing. So to our business, when you're weak, when you're down, when you're not in your element, the results you can
Show.
tell in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
When we're the product, we are the service provider. When people call Simeon, they expect Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
If I call them and I pick up moping and I'm not well, they're going to be like, where's Simeon? Where's the Simeon we know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to call anyone else.
Absolutely.
So to show up, I know what I have to do every morning to show up and deliver the promised land that I have created.
Yeah, and I'll take it even a step further. I mean, it's not just the morning, it's just daily check-ins. Like if you're frustrated or angry, those aren't primary emotions. Those are emotions that are set on top for something else. So what is that? Why is this coming up? Maybe I haven't dealt with something. Maybe I haven't called this person. Who knows what it is? But self-check-ins daily are how you're going to become a better person and feel better.
Amazing. I'm going to close this off with bringing you back to your ultimate goal. When you came here in March, when we booked this, I asked you, like, what is your number one? What is it you want to do? You said, I want to change our industry for the better.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you regarding your empowerment efforts? How can people connect with you? Where is your favorite place? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it your website?
Instagram's my favorite so that we can chat back and forth and get to know each other.
And what is your handle?
At Holly Ann Carroll.
Amazing. I know we're connected there. I know we've connected there a few times. To all my brothers and sisters out there, for anybody looking for a strong agent in the Muskokas, always remember we have a directory. We have a myriad of contacts, nationally, that we can refer you to, that we can bring out and check out their episodes of what they deliver. Holly delivers a great experience with her clients. I'm a huge fan of her branding exercises, as they do allow the consumer and our clients to kind of see what they can expect. Check her out. And of course, if you're looking to kind of help and do your part in changing the world, maybe have a discussion on how you can help her with her causes. Until next time, Holly, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for spending your time with us here at Broker's Playbook. This is a growing community. If you found value in this video, please invite others to subscribe and, of course, share the videos with. We'll see you soon.